The Lord has led me a lot from my childhood on to today with dreams and visions. And so oftentimes I'm led to do something because of something that the Lord has shown me. And sometimes I don't even know it's the Lord. I'm just doing it. And then I realize after the fact why that happened. LeAna, Osterman, 80 years old. My dad was in the Coast Guard and went to Alaska as a young sailor. And my mom was from Romania. She was born in Romania and came over when she was about 5. Ended up going to Washington State University to become a teacher in music and art. And the best place for her to get a job was in Alaska. So she went up to Alaska and met my dad. I've always wanted to be involved in missions and overseas kind of things. And I was primarily administrative, but I did nursing also. I get my most satisfaction is when you see a need and you go after it. And in fact, my boss at the University Hospital, at that time the medical center, he said, I see you like to take care of problems. And I said, I do. I live in Linden, Washington. One of my colleagues was out driving in Linden in the middle of a storm on Christmas Eve, and he saw these 2 young kids walking along the road by themselves with knapsacks. And the Lord prompted him to go back and get them and take them home with him. And he did. And they spent Christmas with him. So out of that was the development of what's called New Way Ministries. We started out with a 6-month program for the moms and their kids. We had 9 moms and their kids. And then we added a couple years later what's called Next Steps. And they could stay an extra year. And we would give them more independence and give them more education. Now we're up to 23 moms and their kids. And I was giving reports as a chairperson of New Way Ministries to the board of primarily farmers who were with the CRC church. And I objected to the director and I said, here I'm responsible in title probably for 2/3 of the building, 2/3 of the revenue, and I don't have a voice at the table. This is not okay. Now we've folded our board from New Way is now into the Christian Hope Association, and I'm the vice president of that. So one of my goals is to make sure women get recognized for what they're able to do and quit relying on the men to do it. I've had a close walk with the Lord since I was a child and have continued in my entire lifetime. So much of my whatever I've done, whatever work I've gone into, where I've traveled has been dependent on that relationship with the Lord. One of the things that I have recommended in several positions, and that is that young people need to do some volunteer work while they're young, because if they don't get introduced to it while they're young, they're too afraid to do it when they're older. Or they've got so many family commitments, they're not sure how to dive into it. Well, you'd laugh when I was going to have cataract surgery. My friends had not gotten to that age and had it, and they were very nervous about it. And I said, okay, come watch mine. So they did. So there was a whole cadre of about 6 people watching my surgery. And I said, okay, now do you feel better about it? And they've since had theirs. So I use it as an educational opportunity. I think I'm much healthier than what I saw in 80 years old when I was a kid. I thought they were very old, and there's a lot of my people that that I'm caring for that are much younger than I am, and they're not as well off physically as I am. So I think that maybe, that a lot of them have had families and taken a lot of responsibility of doing that. A lot of them have been alcohol and cigarettes and things that haven't done much for their health. So I have avoided those, and I think that has contributed to my health as it is. I would have liked to have been married. That was my plans, and a couple of times I was dating a child prodigy in music one time, and we went off, but the Lord made it very clear that was not his choice. I've had 2 roommates 20 years apart, and both of them died from complications of health problems. And it is hard. It's hard to lose somebody, but that would be true in a marriage, too, to lose a spouse. In fact, I think it's more difficult for that because, particularly for women, My observation is that they depend so much on their husband to do things that they never really learn how to do those things. And I've had to learn to do everything. My last roommate that passed away about 9 years ago now, when the Lord took her home, it was the best thing for her because I knew to bring her back would just be more pain and suffering. And I think that's generally what happens when people are getting ready to pass away. Sometimes it's so much better to just let them go and work with the consequences. So I'm not afraid of that. I think the Lord will prepare me for it because He's always given me a heads up to what's coming down the road. The Lord takes good care of me. And when it gets to that stage, so be it. It's a part of living. I don't know whether I've been able to articulate it very well, is that being single isn't all that bad at all. Knowing the Lord and having His direction makes a major difference in what you're able to do and what you're able to enjoy. But I still love gardening, and I've debated whether to move because I'm in a 2-story, 2,200 square foot house, and do I really want to continue with that? But I like my gardening. And I have 2 ladders, one that goes up on the inside fence and one on the other side homestead, and I clean out their berms and I trim the trees so I can still see the golf course. And right now when I look out, I see a cherry tree in blossom and a couple of ducks out there and the squirrels, and I enjoy that. I really don't feel 80 at all. It's just a number for me. It's not, I still act like I did when I was 60, and like people are worried about me climbing over the fence, and I'm not too worried about it at all, thank you. So I'm still here.